Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 300. Yay, hard to believe I've done 300 of these, but I have. And it is February the 25th, 2025. So, pardon my hair, I'm having a bad hair day. Thank goodness I'm going to get it cut and my beard all trimmed up and everything nice later today. So, that is a good thing. So let's take a look at some other good things that I've been working on this week. First of all, here it is, finally done. This is Cornered Stars. It is my own pattern. And if you've been following me, you know that I have made this once before. And when I got the top all finished, before I got it to Lucy is my long arm, there was some mistakes in it. Actually, it was one mistake repeated, how many times? 12 times. Yeah, at least I was consistent. One little piece that was out of alignment in my corners up here, which made my little half stars look more like sailboats. So I have that quilt still, and I will quilt it at some point in time, and I'm going to call it Sailboats and Stars. Right. But when I redid this one, and the reason I redid it was then try to pull it out, I had the whole thing as you see it here done. I would have had to ripped out two borders, and then essentially in order to get to the piece on each one of these stars that was out of whack, I would have had to have gone row by row and basically almost totally unassembled the whole quilt. And in the time that would take, I could make another quilt. So I did. And I made it the right way. Thing was, I was out of the original fabrics that I used for the stars here in the center. I had still lots of the yellow and the orangey colors, but I didn't have what I had used here. So I went through my stash and I picked these colors. And you want to know something? I like these colors better than on the original one. These ones allowed the secondary pattern to actually show up much more clearly. So I guess, as the saying goes, when God closes a door, he opens a window. And I guess my window of opportunity was to make the second version better. At least in my opinion, I think it's better. So this quilt finishes at 50 by 50. And as I said, I called it Cornered Stars because of the way I've done the corners. Although the quilt is not on point, it looks sort of like it's on point if you look at the center section, but it's not. So there aren't any Y seams here to worry about. It's all basically, it's mostly half square triangles and squares. That's it. It's very easy to put together. And if you set yourself up like a little assembly line at your sewing machine, it goes together pretty fast as well. Now, when will this pattern become available? Well, my patterns are always free, so you don't have to worry about paying for it. However, I'm not going to release it until the Idiot Quilter Retreat at the end of April. I do have a couple of minor tweaks I still need to do to the pattern itself, the written pattern. But once those are all done and once the retreat has come about, I will tell you how to get your hands on a free copy of this pattern, and it'll be downloadable. It'll be, excuse me, hiccups. It will be downloadable, and it'll be in PDF format. So I'm sorry, I'm not releasing it until the retreat. And the retreat is on Saturday, April the 26th. And while I'm talking about the retreat, I might as well mention now that the retreat will be all the information about it, that kind of thing. I'm going to make a video as well about it. Will come out about the 1st of April. Although that seems a long time away, at the rate January and February have been going, I think we'll be there before we know it. Okay, so that was one thing I did this week. Here's another thing. I use this as a palette cleanser. This is an In the Hoop project, and this one came from I think it is, let me see here. I think it is Sweet Pea Designs. No, this one is a Creative Kiwi. design, and I believe I have the link for it in the show notes below if you're interested. This is a little bit different kind of in the hoop project. Lately you have seen on So Chatty that we've been doing a series on bag making, and before that on a wall hanging. And when it came time to put the pieces together, we had to do it on our conventional sewing machine. Well, this design is actually, it is done in pieces because it's a fairly big piece. It measures probably about 18 inches wide by about 14 inches tall. You sew it together in the hoop. Yeah, you do. Something a little different. Now, Creative Kiwi has a lot of their designs are done that way, and I quite like them. The first time I ever did them, I got a little lost. I got things a little crooked, and they didn't line up properly. But after you've done one, you get the idea of how it all goes together, how they design the file so you know how to line up the pieces exactly, and it works out really fine. And I like doing that kind of thing. As I said, once you get over the learning curve, which isn't that steep, because everything's being done on one machine. You don't have to take the pieces off, then line them up and sew them with your domestic sewing machine, as you do with with a bag or a tile project, not problem, project. So yeah, it's kind of cool for that. And Creative Kiwi's designs are usually very good. Yeah, they're always very good, actually. The directions are very clearly written, and they have lots of pictures to show you what you should be doing. And in many times, Creative Kiwi actually puts up a YouTube video tutorial. So if you buy something from Creative Kiwi, they are in New Zealand. But of course, because you download these patterns and files from their website, that's not a problem. Prices are very reasonable. And yeah, if you get one of their designs, just go on YouTube, do a search for it, and you may find a YouTube video about how to do it. So that's always great too. Okay, this mess that on my design wall, well, it's not really a mess. It's just that these are the individual blocks. I'm still working on the Barn Star sampler. I started it pretty much 2 years ago. I ran into some problems back then with it. I wasn't getting things to come out the right size. I figured out what my problem was. And in a nutshell, don't use steam. Steam will shrink your fabrics unless they're pre-washed. Yep. Didn't believe that. I believe it now. And I don't use steam anymore. And my pieces come out very accurate. But anyways, I'm slowly working my way through. There are a lot of blocks in this. This is a large quilt. I think it finishes at 80 by 100. So it's just going to fit on my Lucy when it comes time to quilt it once I have it all together. But I'm still quite a ways away from that. These are the first 4 blocks in the pattern, but you make 2 of each block. So I have 8 blocks done, but there are many more blocks to go. And yesterday I spent an hour and a half or so cutting pieces for the next 3 blocks and getting them organized. I labeled them with my alphabeties and put them in Ziploc bags, because now I make little mini kits out of this. And that's one way I have found that helps me with the way my brain works to get through this project. I'm not really enjoying doing this quilt. I'm not. And I don't know why. I like the blocks. I think it's going to look really nice when it's done. And my plans are to use this one on our bed. The one we have on our bed right now is a little smaller, and I would like something that has a little bit more drape to it on the bed. And I think this one might fit that purpose. Plus, you know, it's time to switch out. I've had the quilt that's on the bed now for a while. Yeah, several years actually. So it might be time for a refresh. But anyways, back to this. What was I going to say about it? The reason that I find it somewhat trying is because that each one of these blocks has a lot of little pieces in it. Not so small you can't work with them, they are a lot of them, and it just gets tedious, after a while. And then when you discover, don't read the instructions carefully enough, that you actually have to make two of each of these blocks, it kind of discourages you a little bit more. But I'm persevering. My goal is I will get this quilt done sometime this year. So just keep plugging at it. And the other thing too is there's other projects I want to do, and this one doesn't excite me enough to say, oh no, this is going to be my exclusive project. And you know what happens when you work on multiple projects, right? Yeah, somebody doesn't get done. So anyways, I'm plugging along with it. I am happy with the way it's turning out right now. I'm not picking my colors the way we would traditionally do it. There's a lot of fabric in this, and again, it is very confusing. You can get a little swatch chart from the publishers of this pattern, and I have downloaded it. And when I first started, I started organizing my fabrics and laying them out. I was just getting very, very confused, and it takes a lot of fabric as well, this quilt. So what I'm doing is I have a basket full of fat quarter bundles that are of this style of fabric and this color scheme. And with each block, I decide on the colors I want out of that basket. I pull in some of the colors from the other blocks that have been finished as well, where I can, to keep things somewhat coordinated. And that's how I'm doing it. So maybe that's another reason why I'm not that fond of this pattern, is because there's an awful lot of fabric in it, an awful lot of coordination, and it's so easy to get yourself screwed up with it. But anyways, I think it'll be really nice when it's done. And it was all the rage there a few years ago. Everybody was doing the Barn Star sampler. I wonder how many people actually finished it. I know a few people are still working on it now, so I am not alone in my progress. Okay, so what's happening? What's coming up? What's new? Okay, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Come and go as you please. Work on whatever you want. Hope to see you there. Pop-up Sew Day. Yes, I'm going to have a pop-up Sew Day. Not this coming Saturday, but a week from this Saturday, which would put it on Saturday, March the 8th. Next week, I will send out to those on my mailing list the Zoom link, and for everybody else, the Zoom link will appear in all my videos that go up next week. So everything will be there for you, and the pop-up Sew Day are always fun. Again, now it starts a little earlier. It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and runs until about 5 in the afternoon Eastern Time. But you can come and go as you please. You don't have to register for it. You don't have to tell me whether you're coming or not. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. If you're available, you want to be there, fine. And if you can't make it, you can't make it. Life happens. So that's March the 8th. All right. And long distance, already talked about it. Retreat planned for Saturday, April 26th. All the details will come out at the 1st of April. So what else is happening? Well, for me this week, and I'm a little nervous about this, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, at the time of recording this, I am doing a guild presentation in the evening via Zoom for a guild in our area, the Ganaraska Quilters Guild. They asked me some time ago to do it. Original plan was in January, but they changed that because I think they were double booked. It happens. And asked if I could do it in February, and I said, sure, no problem. My time's flexible. I'm a retired person. So, yeah, I have it all prepared. It's PowerPoint. They want me to talk about why I am an idiot, why I'm the idiot quilter. So I have done the whole presentation around that. And yeah, I'm a little nervous that when the technology, I mean, we're doing it by Zoom. I use Zoom all the time. But every time you use technology for something and you depend upon it the most, it lets you down the most too. That, and I'm just hoping the presentation is appropriate. And what I mean by that is it something they will be interested in? I don't know. I was very flattered to be asked to do this. They asked me what my fee was. I said, well, I've never done this before. I have no idea what to charge. And I said, you know something? I'm not going to charge you for this. It's it's a freebie. Um, and the reason I'm doing that too, and I've mentioned this before, is two reasons. One, if they don't like my presentation, they can't ask for their money back because they didn't pay anything. And two, and probably more importantly of the two, is that guilds don't have a lot of money. I know I used to be a member of a guild. And so, wherever they can save some money is a good thing. So, yeah, I'm just flattered that they asked me to do this, and I'm more than happy to, although I'm a little nervous, as I said. But yeah, I'm not charging them for it at all. And I have another guild presentation to do next month as well for a different guild. They both came out of the blue at the same time, almost. So that one, though, I'm doing in person, and that's another whole new slate of potential problems with the technology. So I'm trying to prepare myself the best I can so there won't be any problems, because there's nothing more annoying than being expecting a presenter in any format, whether it's in person or it's on Zoom, and they're tripping over wires, they can't get right screens to come up, things aren't cooperating. So I don't want to be that person that does that. So yeah, um, yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, so this past week we did part two of the In the Hoop bag making a series that we've been doing on So Chatty, Walter and I, and showed you how to stitch up the main center panel. And this week we're going to be doing the other panels much more quickly, because basically the other panels are done the same way as the center panel. And we're going to show you how you sew the upper body of the bag, those panels together, how you line them up and how you sew them together on your domestic sewing machine. Because these, unlike that sewing machine wall hanging I showed you, are not sewn in the hoop. You have to go to your domestic machine. So that's what's coming up on So Chatty this week. So I think it's time for a subscriber's quilt of the week. This comes from a good friend and a longtime subscriber, and one of my presenters for the Idiot Quilter Retreat, and her name is Heidi Morel, and this is her wonderful creation. This week's quilt from a subscriber is both from a subscriber and a friend, and it's Heidi Morel, who sends this from the east coast of Canada, out in New Brunswick. And Heidi, I'm just reading here her notes on this, and I want to get this right. She says this was all pieced and quilted in 2024 as a wedding gift, and the bride is thrilled. The ombre design is my own, showcasing her two favorite colors, pink and purple. The traditional block is known as the flowering snowball. Well, let's take a look at this. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the use of the ombre, and the ombre is very, very subtle as it moves from the deeper pinky color over to the deeper purple color at the other end. And the design of it, with the well, she called it a flowering snowball. To me, it reminds me of a cathedral. Is it a cathedral or no, an orange peel quilt. But either way, it is absolutely stunning. And if we can get it blown up here just a little bit to take a look at Heidi's quilting. Yeah, Heidi does her quilting by hand. So this is all hand done quilting, and it is gorgeous. And if you look at those tiny little hearts, each one of them is exactly like the other. And how she did that, I mean, that's skill. That is definitely skill. And of course, Heidi is going to be one of my presenters this coming spring for the Idiot Quilter Spring Retreat. And I'm asking her to specifically, at one point in her presentation, to talk about her journey into hand quilting, because I admire anybody who has the patience, the time, and the skill to do something like this. And Heidi definitely has all of those things. So thank you so much, Heidi, for sharing this beautiful creation with us. And I am sure that the bride, she probably was thrilled when she got it. Well, you said she was, but I'm sure every time she looks at it, it gives her a thrill. So, don't you wish that you could have a fabric store in your house? Well, with the amount of fabric most of us have stash, that's what it seems to be. But you know, you never find the right fabric, do you, in your stash for whatever you're working on. And so off we go to the fabric store. But wouldn't it be nice if you could print your own fabric at home, kind of on demand? Well, apparently you can, sort of. There's a new product out on the market. It's called PrintModa Studio Fabric Printer. And I found a video about this. It's basically an unboxing and a setup tutorial. So I'm going to give you a little preview of what that video is all about, and I will have the link in the show notes if you want to pursue that a little further. This week's YouTube video is about a piece of technology that has entered into the quilting world. And at first look at it, it's an exciting piece of technology. But when you start to really think about it, you have to look at it from the practical point of view. This is called PrintModa Studio Fabric Printer. This is an unboxing and a setup put on by a person that I've watched his channel a few times before. He does a lot of custom sewing. He does a lot of leather sewing. He doesn't really make quilts as per se or garments. He's more into making, you know, costumey kind of things and leather things. But and he goes by Talk Custom. But he's doing a review on this printer, which supposedly prints fabric. Well, you'll have to be the judge of this yourself after you've seen the video. But in my mind, this is something that I think I can live without. I don't think it's economical at any level. I think it's a gimmick. And I don't think the final quality of the product you get out of it is probably all that great. In fact, what he is showing is printing a custom picture onto fabric. Well, you can do that already with your inkjet printer, and you can buy fabric that is meant, like 8.5 by 11 sheets of printable fabric that's meant to go through your regular inkjet printer. However, it is a piece of technology, and I'm always interested in technology, so it's something that maybe down the road they will add to, make a little better, make it more approachable price-wise and in supply material costs for the average quilter. But you might be interested in this, so check out PrintModa Studio Fabric Printer Unboxing and Setup Tutorial. So that takes me to future projects. And when I found this, I got really excited. Back before Christmas, you may remember, or you may not, especially if your memory's like mine. I don't remember what I said 2 minutes ago. I was looking for a in the hoop project to make a wine tote, and I didn't have any luck finding anything out there. So I made my own, and I basically took a in the hoop tote bag pattern and used only a couple of the panels instead of all the panels that went into it, and created a very nice double bottle wine tote from that. Well, last week or so, I was trundling my way through, I believe it was Creative Kiwi or Sweet Pea Designs. Sweet Pea, that's it. They are having a big sale. So I went through their In the Hoop projects and I bought quite a few. of them. And one of them I came across was a wine tote, but you used a jelly roll for it. And I thought, well, this might be a quick and easy project in the hoop. And you know, you're always looking for something like a hostess gift, or you're invited to people for dinner and you take a bottle of wine. And you know, you don't like to show up on the doorstep with a bottle of wine in a paper bag or plastic bag. That looks sort of ghetto, doesn't it? Um, but then again, if you can get those ones in the liquor store or whatever, the gift bag kind of a thing. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to bring them something that they can reuse? So it's not only good for the environment, but next time they go off to dinner to somebody's place, they can tote their wine bottle in that. Well, this is what I found. It is called the Jelly Roll Bottle Carrier by Sweet Pea. So a future project for me is another In the Hoop project. As I've said earlier, I am really into In the Hoop stuff these days, and I have often been looking for a pattern for making a wine bottle bag. And I haven't had any luck until now. And I happened to come across this during Sweet Pea's latest sale, and it's called the Jelly Roll Bottle Carrier. And as the name says, you basically make it out of a jelly roll. So it looks like it's not going to take very much time to make this, and it only holds a single bottle, but that's enough. And it might make a nice little hostess gift, like you're going to somebody's place for dinner, so you have this bag and you pop in a bottle of wine and they have the wine bag later. Now it does have quilting on it as well, which I think is kind of nice, and I think this would make a really nice little hostess gift. I'm not really fond of the colors that they decided to use in this. I think I would use something a little bit more elaborate. And I'm sure you don't even have to do it with a jelly roll. You can probably cut 2.5-inch strips yourself out of your stash of fabric and do it whatever way you want. Now, it looks like the bag is lined. I imagine that, because I haven't looked at the instructions in detail, but I have them right here by me, and I'm just taking a quick look at them. And I think just like a tote bag, what you do is you make the lining separate. It's not made in the hoop, and then you put the bag all together using your sewing machine. But the price was right, $3.85. So I want to try this one real soon and at least get an idea of what I could do with this design, and I might be able to make it a little bit more personalized or more suiting towards my taste by just manipulating the files a little bit, or as I said before, the fabric selection. So that's the Jelly Roll Bottle Carrier. That's at Sweet Pea Designs, and I have a link for it in the show notes below if you're interested in grabbing one for yourself. Now, after you've seen that and everything that I said, I do my video pieces about a week to 5 days in advance of the actual publishing date of the video. So just yesterday, before recording this, I did the Jelly Roll Bottle Carrier. Here it is. It's lined. Looks nice, I think. Has embroidery on the side of it. That's all done in the hoop. I thought it was going to take a long time to do. And actually, you make 2 panels of these strips, and you actually make the handle in the hoop too. That was something I have never done before. I usually make the handles for tote bags in the more conventional way with your sewing machine. So I thought, okay, this is fun. This is cute. Neat. Don't make it. Well, what I mean by that is, first of all, the instructions for assembling the bag, for putting the lining in this and the handles, is a method that I have never seen done before. Like, I've never had a pattern where you sew the handles onto the outside part of the bag first before you even put the lining in. Usually, you drop the handles down inside the bag, you sew them in, And then the lining goes on the outside of the bag, inside out, with a gap in it, and you pull everything through, including the handles. This didn't work that way, not quite that way. Now, maybe I misread the instructions, but I read them a lot. And in fact, they kind of left you hanging with the handle. They said, take your handle, sew it to the outside of the bag, lining it up with the seam. And so you sewed it right here. And oh, the bag was turned inside out at that point, I think. Wasn't it? No, it was right side out. Yeah, right side out. And you sewed it, down along here. Hard to show you on this one. It didn't say anything about the other side. I assumed you were supposed to do it similar on the other side. Well, I did, but I did it upside down. I had to, and again, it was the instructions were not clear. At least I didn't find them very clear. I got it to work. And I got the lining in and everything like that. But oh my God, this was a bitch to sew on the sewing machine. I mean, the panels together, not a problem. Even the handle, after everything I've already said, you could sew on there okay too. But what was really a bitch on this was the lining. Because you had to sew it in, and I don't have a free arm machine. A free arm machine might have helped, but it's so small an opening that you are fighting with your sewing machine. I don't know how I managed to get this to sew in and look pretty decent. I mean, I'm not particularly happy, although it doesn't really take away from the bag that my lining is popping up here above the top of the bag, although it kind of looks like it's supposed to. They said it wasn't supposed to. But anyways, I've got it done, and quite honestly, I could have made a tote for carrying a wine bottle faster than what it took me to make this one. So, might be a reason why this pattern was on sale. I don't know. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it unless you're somebody with a great deal of patience and teeny hands, because it's going to be a challenge. It is. Okay. So what else am I working on, or how was last week going? Well, here's a little video to show you. So this week I finished up on the cornered stars pattern, and you saw the pictures of that at the beginning of today's episode. I've also gone back to the Barn Star sampler, and here are some of the blocks. I now have 4 of the blocks done. Actually, there are 8 blocks in total here, I think. 2, 4, 6, yeah, 8. But you have to make 2 of each one. So it's coming. It's going to be a big quilt, and I'd like to say that I've enjoyed the process working on this quilt, but for some reason I haven't. I think it's because the blocks are so big. It's like it takes forever to make one block. That's what it seems, although I'm getting a little faster at it. But I still have many blocks to go, and here's all my fabrics for it. Now, I'm not going to be using all of these fabrics in this, but I've got out a variety here, because basically I'm picking the colors as I go along. So there is some consistency here, but not necessarily so. Don't know if that's making any sense or not. But I intend this coming week to work on this further until I get bored with it. Of course, working on, and you saw these on So Chatty this past week. This is the bag that we're doing in the hoop. Both Walter and I are doing one, but different colorways. And our next edition of this is going to be how you put these together to make the top of the bag. We've got our leather for the bottom, and we were looking at needles the other day because it's recommended you use a Microtex needle. And Walter said he didn't have any, and I thought I did, and I looked in my supply of things, and yep, I had a whole bunch in a couple of different sizes. So I gave a couple of packages to Walter, and I've got a couple. So when we get to that stage of the bag making process, we'll show you how and why we're using Microtex needles with that. Of course, I've still got over here on my project table lots of projects to work on in the future. And let's just turn the camera around. I have been, of course, making things with the 3D printer. If you saw my vlog, the other day. You saw the things that I've been making. I'm working on a really large project right now. And if you remember back at Christmas time, I made on my old printers, these ones, all the parts for putting together a Christmas mansion. It turned out really great. But now that I have the bamboo with the AMS up here, the automatic materials system, I can make all the parts in colors, you know, as it goes along. I don't have to stop the printer, change a roll of filament, that kind of thing, which is great. So I've been making lots of things, or all the parts for this next project. It's the Haunted Mansion, and I'm getting there. It takes a long time to make all the parts, and then I've got to stick them all together. But of course, I will show you that when I get there to it. So yeah. Oh yes, and the other thing too is I finished up this. You saw it already, but this is where it's going to sit now. It sits here with my old Singer machine, which was a gift from one of my subscribers, Colleen, who lives out in Prince Edward Island in Charlottetown. We went to visit her, what was that, a year ago or so? When we were there, man, it's been 2 years now almost. Time flies when you're having fun. And of course, I thought this was an appropriate piece to put right by that machine. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and we'll see what other things we can get into later this week. And that takes me to my the online quilt store of the week. This one is called Artistic Quilts with Colors. This week's online quilt store is called Artistic Quilts with Colors, which is located in Belleville, Ontario, which is a community about an hour and a half east of my location. So let's check this one out, because I've never heard of this one before. So this is their front page. It has their address at the top. They have a sale going on, and they have contact information and signing in, and everything's in Canadian dollars. Okay, they have block of the month, they have subscription boxes, quilt kits, classes, designers, fabric collections, products, Bernina machine service, and long arm. So let's just move down here if I can find my cursor. And they have a welcome, and they have a map showing you where they're located. And yeah, they're having a blowout sale of 25 to 45% off at the time of recording this. It's quilt kits, and they have shop by category and featured quilt kits, and just arrived, some solids, and some other things they're featuring, and their clubs. So there's a great deal of information. They do sell OESD products. It looks like they have classes, and they are a Bernina sales place. Words fail me. Okay, so let's check out fabric first of all. So the fabric collections. Oops, okay. And this is organized by fabric collections, fabric type, fabric by manufacturers, pre-cuts, and kits. Okay, so let's see, fabric type. Let's go down and take a look at, they have Fireside 108-inch quilt backing, batiks, blender fabrics, canvas, cotton lawn, flannels, minky fabric, novelty fabrics, panels, sateen, cotton, seasonal fabric, and solid fabric. Okay. So how do I go about this? I don't see a section that says just quilting cotton. I mean sateen cotton, but that's not necessarily quilting. They have blender fabrics and batiks. Well, let's go by manufacturer instead. And I notice they have Northcott, so let's check out Northcott. And they have it listed by basically the designers. They have Deborah Edwards. I like Deborah Edwards. Colorworks. They have canvas top colors. These are Deborah Edwards as well. The canvas line is a great blender line. And that looks like all they've got. And then they have Anna Marie Perry, 268 products, it says it's listed here. So let's take a look. Oh, here we go. I have not heard of her, but she has some really brilliant colors, and it's very much looks a lot like Kaffe Fassett. Again, it looks like, oh, some of this is new stuff. It's not shipping until, yeah, September, August, June, April, March. And then she has some of her other things here. Okay. I really like the colors. They're very bold. All right, well, let's just go into one of her collections. This collection's on sale at 45% off. Ooh. Okay, so how much is it usually by a meter? Oh, okay. Oh, these must be collections in here. This is single, 375, so I imagine that's a quarter meter. I hate it when they put things together as a quarter meter. So a half meter, they have it here. Half a meter is 10.50 Canadian, so it's $21 a meter. And that's on the upper end of the price, but this is a designer fabric. So let's just see what they're selling, what they're pricing some of the more common. They have Free Spirit fabrics, for example. Oh, it's all done by designers. Okay, I don't know about you, but I don't follow fabrics according to designer. And I hate it when a website does it this way because it's very difficult to find what I want without having to spend hours browsing. That's just me. Other people probably like it. They have all the, there's Tula Pink. Okay, just out of, because everybody loves Tula, maybe except me. Let's see. Tula Pink books and patterns. Aurifil, hardware notions. Okay, where's the fabric? Kits, pre-cuts. Oh, here's the fabric. Shipping in April. Here's your True Colors one. Actually, these kind of patterns I don't mind so much. Okay, fairy dust. It seems like I have to go through a lot of pages to get to what I want to see. Whoa. Okay. Oh, that's a sateen quilt though. Okay, fairy dust, 375 for a quarter meter. So a half meter is $12.50. So you're talking $25 a meter for Tula Pink. That's expensive. I mean, I know Tula Pink is expensive, but in most cases, but that's expensive. Okay, let's see if we can find something a little bit more reasonably priced. So let's take a look at, okay, how did I get into this? I don't know. Back to fabric collections. Let's look at blender fabrics. So they've got Kona, Robin Pickens, that, okay, this, all of this having to go through all these different designers. I don't like that setup at all. Let's look at Kona. And here we go again. We have to go page after page. This is kind of annoying. But it's about the same. It's so blenders are $8.75 a half meter. So $8.75. So what's that? $18. 150. Doing math in my head here. Math hard. 8 and 8 is 16, and $1.60 is 17. So about $17.50 for a solid, which is, you know, about average price. So hold it there. I'm finding it very frustrating though to find what I want to look for in the way this is done. It looks like I have to go through page after page until I get down to something. Let's check out wide back and see what we have here. We have 70 products. Again, we're doing this designer thing. Oh, but here I guess it's not so bad. 1650. So that's not until September anyways, but okay, I'm confused here. 1650 Canadian, is that for a meter or for a half meter? I suspect that that's a half meter. View details. Yeah, half meter 1650. So we're talking $33 a meter for 180. That's on the pricier side. Again, I know that wide backing is expensive, but that's on the upper end of the scale. Well, let's see. I just want to see what the variety was, what they had to offer. Everything is shipping. later. What's the stuff they have in stock? Now you got to really read these or you're going to be disappointed. Like, okay, I'm happy that you're showing us what you're going to be getting, but what do you have now? And by the looks of things here, nothing. Oh, I guess down here we have some. Okay. 23, is that this one? Okay, again, is that by the meat? Okay, fact. Okay, this is now confusing. So, is this price, does it mean this? Half a meter is $23.95? Because if that's half a meter, that's expensive. I'm just looking down price per half a meter. Yeah, okay, I guess that's what it is. That is very expensive, very expensive. And I find this very confusing. I mean, half a meter, fat quarter. You click on it, nothing. What if you wanted a fat quarter, what's the price on a fat quarter? I have no idea. Okay, not impressed by that. Not impressed by that at all. Okay. Well, this is frustrating me to no end. The prices are frustrating, the way these prices are listed, the way you order the fabric, how you can find it. All of this is extremely confusing to me. So I am not impressed by that. So let's take a look at, I think they also had pre-cuts, applique bag making kits, foundation, paper piecing, pre-cuts. Here we go. And again, we've got to go through multiple pages. And price-wise, not good. No, no. Okay, if a K facet collection. Again, this half a meter, fat quarter, fat eighths. This seems to be what's on every one of their pages. And then we have a price. So I guess that price is for collection, $130. What's in the collection? 20 stunning designs for multiple collections. Okay. This Classic Plus pre-cuts is a fat quarter bundle that contains fat quarters. 18 by 22. Okay, it contains that. 20 stunning designs. So does that mean that that's how many fat quarters are in the bundle? And this picture shows 20. So that's what I'm assuming. So you're getting 20 fat quarters for $130 of K facet. Little pricey. Also very confusing. I mean, I don't want to go to a online quilt store where I have to second guess what I'm getting. And that's what's happening with all of this. This could be written in a much clearer fashion. So I'm very disappointed in that. They have some very pretty fabrics. Price-wise, a little on the high end. But the way to find these, I find it frustrating, the navigation of their website. Okay, what's under designers then? Okay, we have fabric collections by manufacturers, but then we have designers. Okay, so yeah, you have to know your designers. They have quilt kits. Okay, this took us right back to, okay, there was something came up real quick about quilt kits, but then disappeared. Okay, there it is. I moved my cursor down. Each kit includes all the fabric you need to assemble the quilt top, step-by-step patterns to guide you through the process, binding to finish your quilt with by professional look. Okay, so you're not getting backing fabric, but you're getting everything else. Okay, they have some interesting things here. Okay, now they've got something called pre-cuts. They've got quilt kits, applique kits, bag making kits, foundation paper piecing quilt kits. Then they have pre-cuts. They have toy kits, quilt. But these aren't kits. Why is that stuck there? Very, very confusing. I'm not even going to look into that any further because I'm getting very frustrated. The design of their website. Let's look at block of the month. Explain it here. Expensive. Expensive. Okay. Let's look at subscription boxes, because we don't find a lot of these in quilt stores in Canada. So it's a Glide subscription box, Aurifil, Anna Marie Horner subscription box, Tulip Pink, Tim Holtz, K Facet. Okay, the Tulip Pink one, just out of what's I'm curious about, is from $25. From. Okay, so you can buy it by 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, month 11, 12, and there's a registration fee. Is this the registration fee is $25? And then if you get month 1, is $76.75. Okay, subscribe for block. Okay, for block of the month, if you subscribe, it's $76.75. Subscribe, we will deliver every month. This 12-month block of the month program couldn't be easier. You'll be charged monthly, and we'll ship your items directly to your door each month. Okay, this is all very confusing. Very, very confusing. I'm not going any further with that. All right, let's check out what they're charging for shipping. Do they have a section about shipping? Here's their shipping. Canada Post, flat rate. If you choose flat rate, but shipping to PO box, the order will not be shipped until the difference in the rate is paid. Flat rate shipping doesn't apply to northern areas as well. The order will not ship until the difference in the rate is paid. If you're ordering a product with oversized dimensions, live in the Maritimes territory. Oh my God, there's so many conditions on this. U.S., international. So if they have a flat rate, what is it? What's the cost then? I have no idea. I have no idea what their shipping is. And, you know, I'm not even going to bother looking into it. I have a feeling it's just going to be as confusing as everything else. Okay, I am very disappointed in this because when I first saw their welcome page, I thought, wow, they've got some interesting stuff here, and I was really looking forward to it. But I think their prices tend to be on the higher side. I find their website managing it very confusing. I find it very confusing to figure out what the heck it is I'm going to be paying for, or how much I'm going to be paying for stuff. This needs a redesign, in my opinion, to make it a little bit more user-friendly. For all of those reasons, I am going to give this online quilt store, although they have an interesting selection, I'm only going to give them a 5 out of 10. I really believe that their website is too frustrating. Basically just too frustrating for me to spend much time with them. Maybe if their prices were a little lower, I would consider putting up with the way you navigate the website, but no, not going to do it. So you may want to check it out though. Maybe it won't frustrate you at all. And it looks like they do have a brick and mortar store. So if I'm ever down that area again, I may check that out. So that's Artistic Quilts with Color. So that brings us to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. If you have quilts or creations of your own you'd like me to share with everyone else here on the channel, please send me one picture of them with a little blurb, 50 words or less, about your creation. I'd be more than happy to feature it here on a future episode of the Idiot Quilter. And remember, there's stuff coming up Pop-Up Sew Day, March 8th, and then Idiot Quilter Retreat. More details to come, and that's in April. Okay, I hope you have a great week. Be sure to tune in to Sew Chatty this week for the next installment on In the Hoop bag making, and we'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye for now.